Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of the Opposition Preview. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And before we dive into the video, guys, just a quick reminder, make sure you check out Jerseys FC Soccer Shop, guys. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off your Chelsea kits plus free shipping. Get whatever names, numbers, patches on the sleeves, whatever you want, guys. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER, 20% off and free shipping. And let's dive into it. Sunday, Arsenal, Chelsea, Emirates, second versus fourth, 6 points between the two sides. It's going to be a big game. Chelsea, Emirates, not a happy hunting ground. Smashed 5-0 last year. I think it was 3-1 the year before under Lampard. We're due a win at the Emirates. We're due a win in a big game. And this one's got big permutations in terms of the race for the top four in Champions League football. Potts, great to have you again, bro. How you doing? You good?
Nah, come on, man. Love for having me. I appreciate it. I feel a little bit deflated, and I kind of feel like the Chelsea fans would be a little bit more looking forward to this than Arsenal fans, which is mad. I mean, we always look forward to the game, but the way we have been this season and what you're actually looking to do, I think you can actually achieve something still. I'm not sure that we can, but we'll get into it, bro.
You can still win a Champions League, bro. What are you talking about?
Come on. This is Arsenal, man. This is Arsenal. If it was Real Madrid or even if it was you or City or Liverpool, you've all got that before, man. We don't win Champions Leagues. Not under this regime anyway, bro.
I enjoy going to. I enjoy going to the Emirates. In the past, in the Drogba days, it was a happy hunting ground. Now, normally the best thing about going Emirates for us is bringing the inflatable Champions League trophies before the game, and then it goes downhill from there. But I mean, bro, what have you made of Arsenal this season? Obviously, you know, I've come on your channel on a weekly basis. You know, there's quite a lot of delusional Arsenal fans. You're definitely not one of them. But what have you made of the season so far? Obviously, I presume you're disappointed. It must go down as a disappointment in terms of it's a regression from last year. How are you feeling about Arsenal at the moment?
It's not just disappointment. It's and regression. It's failure. It's complete and utter failure at every hurdle. I mean, you obviously tongue-in-cheek talked about the Champions League, and of course we've got a slim chance because we're in it. But let's just be real. The way we're playing, we've got little to no hope of beating any of the Madrids. I will say this. We're in a position where the pressure is completely off now. When the pressure's off, Arsenal tend to do all right, to be honest. When the pressure's on, we crumble. And at every hurdle under this manager, we have done so. And that's why I've not been convinced, Charlie. I can't sit there and lie and say that it's going to be fine and there's false hope and it doesn't matter. It's injuries, it's referees, it's VARs. I'm sick of all the excuses that I hear year after year. And we can go outside of the title race if you want, because we had a massive game against Spurs and Conte got top four with them. We bowled it. We lost the game. Then you go into a title race where no one expected us to be. And I think even yourself and some of the others were like, I hate to say it, but Arsenal looking pretty bloody good. What's gone on there? And the minute the pressure was on, we crumbled, an 8-point lead. And people will say we didn't bottle it because we shouldn't have been in that position. Maybe that's fair. But when you're 8 points clear, you've got to take it and get it across the line. And then the following season, which was just last season, we needed to beat Aston Villa to win the league and we lost. So there's been times where I can give evidence as to why I don't have the conviction that we're going to get across the line, or I've not been convinced. I've got evidence in front of me that suggests that Arsenal get a little bit of pressure and we crumble. And it's not just the Premier League. I can do that with the League Cup games, which people laugh at and say it's a waste. But when you've gone 31 years without winning one, you can't really be chucking them in the bin, in my opinion. Then you've got the FA Cup games where we've lost to teams such as Nottingham Forest and Southampton. Manchester United side is one of the worst I've seen in a long, long time. And then the League Cup, we get pressure this season against Newcastle over 2 legs and get destroyed in both. And then you can look at the European competition that we're now still in. Champions League last season, we lost to a Bayern Munich side that is well respected, but it definitely wasn't one of the best Bayern Munich sides with a Thomas Tuchel that was leaving. And then we go into the Europa League previously, and we've bottled it against teams like Sporting Lisbon, Olympiacos, and Villarreal. And they're not teams that I think would have got through in this new format of the Champions League. So we've had definite disappointment through most of our last 5 years under this manager, but we've got a fan base that have the majority that still believe this guy's the second coming of Pep. And it's very, very frustrating to talk and try and convince these fans that actually they've been brainwashed. Because we're in a position right now where people start telling me that this is nothing like Arne Slot, because look at how Arne Slot walked into Liverpool and look at how Arteta walked into Liverpool. Well, what I'll say to that is fair play. Mikel Arteta walked into a mess back in 2019. But I don't know if anyone's checked, but the date's 2025 now. And this summer, he's walked into an Arsenal that has just gone for a title for 2 seasons. And Arne Slot has walked into a scenario with his first ever Premier League season. A manager who has only been managing 2 years longer than Mikel Arteta has walked this league and probably is going to win the Carabao Cup alongside, maybe even, dare I say it, the mini treble of a champion.
The fake treble.
The fake treble, as they call it. Right? So, look, I don't know how anyone can stick up for it now, man. I've been banging the drum for quite some time. I get a lot of heat for it because not a lot of the fans want to hear what I say about it, because I think they realise some of it's true and they don't like to hear it. I think there's a lot of them that stick the fingers in their ears, and there's a lot of ostriches in our fan base which just bury their head in the sand. And that's what I call them, ostriches, because that's all they do. They just sit there, bury their head in the sand, and they just ignore what's happening around them. So that's what I think of the season. The summer transfer window and the January transfer window as well end. Disgusting.
Same
disgraceful.
For us.
I mean, look, it was, but Chelsea, Chelsea have had problems, and I'm sure we'll go into that. But how you can be in a title race and truly believe the following summer that Sterling, Neto, Marino, and Calafiori was going to be good enough to get you across the line, I would be asking you, where's the next loony bin? Let's get you in it, because that is nowhere near good enough. That is an absolute shambolic couple of windows. And then to go into January after Saka, who clearly is Arsenal's best player, goes down on the 21st of December. If I would have said to you now, Cole Palmer's just gone down, Charlie, but it's the 28th of December, you would have gone, that's a shame. But you would have got at least the windows open in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We can go and get someone. We've done, and not on top of that, Jesus has gone down, Havertz has gone down, Martinelli's gone down, and we're sat there going, I ain't got any strikers now for a title race in the Champions League. Well, you've got what you deserve then, because you've planned dreadfully for this to potentially be the case, and it's blown up in your face. So I've got no sympathy for our board. I've got no sympathy for the ownership. I've got no sympathy for the manager. And if I'm honest, I've got no sympathy for these deluded fans who still believe that the only reason we ain't got anything this season is because injuries, referees, and VAR. It is an absolute imbeciles to believe that is the case, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at, bro. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
No, mate, it's all good. I think to be honest, I think there's a few similarities in terms of Arsenal and Chelsea right now. In terms of there seems to be a total lack of accountability on all fronts from top to bottom at both clubs. You know, in terms of ownership, in terms of sporting directors, in terms of recruitment. No one's prepared to own up and say, do you know what, we got it wrong. It's just lies after lies, or just saying, we're making right decisions and whatnot. And yeah, you're right. Arsenal get themselves in a position where I honestly believe that last season was the chance. And now I don't know when the next chance is going to be. I honestly don't think Arsenal will get a better opportunity to win the Premier League than last season for a good few years now, because Liverpool are there now. Man City will come again. Look, I don't know what we're going to do, but I imagine at some point we might get it right. I just think Arsenal have totally missed the boat on their opportunity there, and it's just like, well, you're not in there was never really a title race, and then Arsenal, what you're 6 points clear of fourth place, and there's 10 games of the season left. Now, I'm not saying that Arsenal are going to drop out the top four or anything, but you are in a top four race now, which is kind of mad. I mean, the biggest thing for me is, Potts, I don't know what you think to this, is like, why has the style of football changed so much? Last season, you actually a real joy to watch. I hate to say it, but Arsenal were great to watch. You're picking up loads of results. You lost one game in the second half of the season, pretty much, with just that Villa one. It might have been a couple, but you played really good football. You get to this season, and even with everyone fit, the football's dire. It hasn't been a great watch at all. Why has there been such a 360 on the style of play?
So people will tell you it's injuries. What I will tell you is the real reason is that he's got serious PTSD about losing football games, and he so overthinks it that he's losing football games. So what he's doing is he's being so careful that it's actually slipping up. So we've actually got quite a good defensive unit, to be fair, and our midfield trio of Partey, Rice, and Odegaard when fit, I think a lot of people would respect it. I'm not too sure that Declan Rice is in the right position there, but he's not a bad player. In fact, he's a very good player. Defensively, Arsenal have been very good, but we're so rigid, bruv. because what he doesn't want to do is be scintillating. He's so obsessed with trying to keep a clean sheet, and by trying to score by set pieces, he's gone backwards with that. So when we were going for a top 4 and we lost out on it, that season we bought Jesus and Zinchenko, Saliba come into the mix, and we were absolutely wonderful to watch. And everyone was like, they'll lose soon. They'll lose soon. And then it's like, yeah, I hope they lose soon. Oh, it doesn't look like they're going to lose soon. And then it went wrong, right? So everybody was like, what's happening here? But we were the best team to watch in the league by far. We were blitzing teams. It was embarrassing for others. We were getting past teams quite simply. And I really thought that we were going to do it that year. And if I'm honest with you, I had more faith that year than I did last year, believe it or not, because I saw with my eyes how good we were. The start of last season, we were playing Kai Havertz, who brought off you in an 8, which is never his position, by the way. And we were rigid. We were slow. It was very like 1-0, 2-1s, last-minute goals. And I'm thinking, what are we doing this for? All we had to do from that season, we were scintillating, where we threw it away being 8 points clear, was go and get a Granit Xhaka replacement, go and get a proper striker, get yourself another attacking winger that you think is going to compete or get in ahead of Martinelli, and go again. And we hadn't done that. So Declan Rice was a good start. Timber was a good signing. Raya was an upgrade on Ramsdale. But we got Kai Havertz as the marquee attacker. That is poor. The following season, we've got Sterling as the marquee attacker. That is poor. So he seems so against getting attack-minded players. He spent 750 million, and majority of it's gone on defenders, goalkeepers, and midfielders. The only attack-minded players he's bought have been Willian, disgrace, Sterling, disgrace, Havertz, not good enough, Jesus, injury-prone, and Trossard. That's it. Yeah.
What's mad? You never replaced Aubameyang.
We've not replaced Aubameyang. We've not replaced Granit Xhaka. Well, we have replaced. Okay, we've replaced both of those, but we haven't replaced their quality. No. So we've spent 100 million on Rice and 100 million on Marino and Havertz, and we haven't replaced Xhaka with that money. We've spent and lost Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Pepe, who, by the way, I'm not saying we needed to keep hold of. It's fine selling these players, and we haven't replaced those 3 really. Saka's replaced Pepe, of course, but he was already there. But in terms of who's actually been brought in, we haven't replaced Lacazette or Aubameyang, because Jesus and Havertz got nowhere near what them 2 were getting against us. Aubameyang and Lacazette were the only 2 things we had when we were poor under Emery, to be fair, right? And then neither of those have been replaced. And you can say that we still haven't replaced Nelson, Smith-Rowe or Vieira in the summer, because we haven't really got an attacking midfielder. Now, some would say, yes, we have. We've got Nathan Waneri. But again, he was a 17-year-old from the bloody academy. So we're not getting these players in. We're just hoping that we can rely on youth, which is, if I'm honest with you, the 2 scenarios we've had. When Smith-Rowe, Saka and Martinelli come on the scene, Arteta was saved. And this season, he's been saved by Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Waneri. So when Saka and Ødegaard are injured, who's the player we're looking towards? A 17-year-old. Seriously?
Yes. You can't do that. You can't do that when you've got aspirations to win a title. You can't unless it's a Lamine Yamal quality. Like you just can't do it. And look, Ethan Waneri is a very, very good player, but to pin title hopes on a 17-year-old kid who hadn't played for the first team before this season, it's not right, and it's not fair, and it's not the way that a club that's got its house in order and is serious about winning things goes about operating. So. Yeah, I share your frustrations in terms of the recruitment, because I honestly think that with the way this season's panned out, if we'd recruited better, then I think that we could have been I'm not saying we would have been up with Liverpool, but we could have easily been second place. You know, we absolutely could have been. It's not because
you should have been as well. When you were at Christmas and you had, what did you have? Fulham. You had Fulham.
Lost to Fulham. We lost to Fulham on Boxing Day at home. What else have we made? We've lost so many. We lost against
fixtures, and I thought, you're going to
against Ipswich. Ipswich away. We had a chance to go top of the league momentarily, and we drew 0-0 away at Everton when under Dyche, when they were really struggling. Then we lost to Fulham on Boxing Day. Then we lost to Ipswich, and then it was just a car crash.
That was where it went wrong. You can't say you're in a title race and lose. We're not winning against Fulham, Ipswich, and Everton. That's ridiculous. So. Again, though, your recruitment, our recruitment was bad. Yours was you've not got a goalkeeper and a striker still. That is embarrassing. And your centre half partnership needs sorting out. You sort that out, you might have had a chance of still being in and around. I mean, I still think Liverpool would have walked it, but I think you would have been up there with what we were doing. Maybe you'd be ahead of us by a few points. Do you know what I mean? If you would have bought
I think we've won 3 or 4. It's either 3 or 4 of our last 13 league matches, and we're 6 points behind you. Chelsea have not been on good form. You know, I know we've done slightly better recently. I think we've won 3 of our last 5 or whatever, but we have obviously played Southampton and Leicester at home in those games. But to think that we're 6 points behind Arsenal and we've lost that many games recently, like 3 or 4 wins in our last 14 matches. It just leaves a massive sense of like, oh, what if only we'd been able to, if we'd beaten a Crystal Palace when they weren't doing that well, if we'd managed to beat an Ipswich or we'd beaten Fulham at home or whatever, you know, you're looking at maybe 5-6 more points on the board, and Chelsea and Arsenal 11 on points. Which is kind of mad. But I mean, bro, looking ahead to this game, obviously you've had the better of us at the Emirates in recent years. 1-1 draw earlier on in the season at Stamford Bridge felt was probably a fair result in that game. Both teams got injuries, got no Jackson, no Madueke. For us, in terms of attacking issues, obviously you've got your own attacking issues. Do you think this game's quite even now with the players that are missing?
100%. Yeah, I don't think either team are scoring many goals. I think both teams clearly need a striker, and that's obvious to both. And anybody that watches football knows that Chelsea and Arsenal strike force has gone from Henry and Bergkamp and Drogba and Zola to Nicholas Jackson and Havertz. I mean, this doesn't take an Einstein to work out that the level of quality has completely dropped over the last couple of decades. So for me, you definitely need to look in that position in the summer for both clubs. This game in particular, I think, could be quite even for the pure fact that I've just seen us struggle against a Nottingham Forest side and a Man United side and lose to a West Ham side because we don't have a centre forward that can put the ball in the back of the net. So as much as we beat PSV by 7, there's a blueprint to play Arsenal, and Chelsea are going to play it. Chelsea will shut up shop. They're not going to come out and give us a right good go because they know that they're probably not going to be guaranteed to take anything from the Emirates, particularly at the Emirates. You might have done it more at the Stamford Bridge, but certainly for me, I think there's a blueprint how to play Arsenal. Everton have done it. Fulham have done it. Man United have done it. West Ham have done it. And none of them have lost. None of them have lost against us. So if Chelsea under Maresca come and give it a good go, then you should just sack Maresca because he's clearly not a very good coach. Yeah. Of course, if you come out and play against us and win, you won't. But if you come out and play against us and lose, it's just silly, in my opinion. Because if you come out and play against us, you might not win the game. But you'll take something if you don't. If you don't come out, and you will not lose if you come out and do what Man United did, because we've got no answer. We've got absolutely nothing up top, mate. Now, I understand and appreciate that Martinelli's back, and I think Ethan Nwaneri, Martinelli and Trossard will probably be the front three. Saka will be back after the international break. It's too early for him. So I think that front three should not scare you. I don't think any Chelsea fan should be going to the Emirates going, oh, I don't want to play this Arsenal side. It's going to be rough. Trust me, this has got a stinky game written all over it, in my opinion. I'm actually missing the game because I'm going to be a stag do. So I'm not going.
Might be a good thing.
Do you know what? I'm more than happy. I'm going to be sitting there chilling. It's not on TV apparently either. Someone told me.
Is it not? It must be. Yeah. What? It's a 1:30 kickoff on a Sunday afternoon. Chelsea Arsenal on a Sunday afternoon must be on Sky or something. It has to be.
I thought it was. Someone put it in my chat that it wasn't, but maybe they were mucking around.
Yeah.
So maybe I fell for that, and it is on TV.
But I think this could be. Look, the one thing for us is that we haven't won a big away game for quite some time now. I mean, I don't count Tottenham as a big away game, but you know, we haven't won a big away game for a significant amount of time. If we're gonna, could be as good a chance as any for us to register a big result against one of the traditional top 6 away from home. With the players missing, with the form, obviously, haven't won in your last 3. But then again, I haven't seen anything from us to suggest that we've got what it takes to get over the line in big games. You know, even when we were playing well at the start of the season, we still didn't win at Old Trafford. We gave a very good account of ourselves at Anfield, but we obviously didn't win. We won at Spurs. We should have won at Man City, but we fucked it. And you know, it's problematic for us at the moment, trying to win away from it. But mate, when you look at the Chelsea team, is there anything that you're worried about? You said that we shouldn't be worried about Arsenal, particularly in terms of the front line, but is there anything that you look at Chelsea and you think, oh, I'm a bit worried about that? I mean, Palmer's bang out of form. You know, Pedro Neto's doing okay through the middle. Sancho's not really delivering at the moment. Enzo and Caicedo in midfield is decent. The defence, we've kept back-to-back clean sheets, admittedly against the 2 worst teams in the league. But the defence is okay. Fofana's back now, which is a big plus. The goalkeeper's not great. Are you worried about anything?
I am, but it's not because of the form of the players. It's because the quality of the players on their day. So Cole Palmer can do some madness. We've seen it, right? I understand he's missed a penalty now for the first time and his confidence low and all that kind of stuff. But What he needs is a goal and a good performance. So I hope he doesn't do that and provide that against Arsenal. I'm a fan of Pedro Neto. I know he's been a bit stinky for Chelsea, if I'm honest. I know he hasn't been amazing, but I think he's an absolute baller. And I think individual quality and technical ability, he's got everything in his locker to be a good player. And the other one, of course, is Caicedo, because once he runs a game, Chelsea are in a good position, mate. I think he's a top player. So, no, I don't really fear any of your centre-halves. I certainly wouldn't want your goalkeepers. I don't quite know what Jadon Sancho is still. I think he's struggling.
Really struggling. He's massive.
Yeah.
He ain't scored in his last 16 games. He's got one assist in 20. He's got one assist this year. That's it.
And who's your striker at the moment? Who are you playing up top?
Neto's playing through the middle. He's played through the middle the last couple of games. I imagine it'll be Neto through the middle. It'll be Sancho one side. Madueke still injured, and then it'll probably either be Nkunku or the young kid Tyreek George on the other side.
Yeah, or unless he plays Palmer there and he plays Enzo, Lavia, and Caicedo in the middle.
Thing is, though, Lavia was on the bench against Leicester, but played no minutes. There's no way he's going to start against Arsenal. Okay. So yeah, I mean that would have been an ideal scenario if he'd got minutes against Leicester. But yeah, I mean the team pretty much picks itself. I mean, Reece James might play in midfield potentially again. So there's a few different options, but yeah, mate, we haven't got that many. We haven't got much to pick from it right now.
No, you haven't, and that's why I think this game could be a little bit of a stink fest, if I'm honest. But now I've said that, it'll probably be a 4-4 thriller or something. But I don't see it happening, man. I really don't. But look, Chelsea got some good players, and I've always said that if Chelsea were to do their recruitment right and had spent over 1 point, whatever the hell it is, billion properly, you should have a squad that should be good enough right now. Because if you look at the actual price of what you've done to create this new squad, it's like £100 million per player in terms of a first 11. If you wanted to spend that money, you could have kept some of the players you've got already and added 11 £100 million players to your first team. That is ridiculous, the amount of money that's been spent. And I look now and I think, where the hell's it gone? Because as much as I like some of your players, I take Caicedo. I like Lavia, by the way. I know he's always injured. I actually quite like Fofana, but I know he's always injured. I'm a fan of Pedro Neto and I want him at Arsenal. And obviously Cole Palmer. Other than that, I'm like, well, I probably wouldn't take Jackson because as much as he probably would do a job for us, he's not what I want in my front line. I wouldn't take Sancho. I wouldn't take Mudryk. I wouldn't take Enzo. I know that he's been better of late, but I certainly don't think that that's the sort of player that I would want. Reece James is never fit, but he's a baller. Correa's an all right left back, but I don't need another left back. I've had about 400 of those. And then centre back partnership, I don't rate Colwell. I think he's a bang average centre half. Fofana's okay, but always injured. And your goalkeeper's no thank you. So I look through and I think, how the hell? Where's the money gone?
Mate, loads of it's gone on kids, like like meant to be like, well, supposedly like stars of the future or whatever. Like, not all that money's been invested on the first team squad.
No.
Which, all right, I understand it's not all going to be done that, but yeah, if we just spent the money more wisely, we could be in a much better position. I mean, just to round out, mate, who do you think this game's more important for?
You guys, 100%. Our season's done in the league, bruv. Like, I really don't care if Arsenal comes second or fourth.
Yeah,
I know that fair. Sounds.
It's the same. It's just prize money, isn't it? It's just a few extra zeros on the end.
It's more money for marble owners, mate. That's all it is. and you know, like if someone said to me Chelsea finished above you, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. We've all lost. We ain't won the league. We're going to get Champions League, all of us, and then we go again next year. So I think it is important because I think you guys need Champions League big time. I don't know if you're going to get it or not. I mean, I keep changing my mind, if I'm honest. This top five, it's so close.
Positions change every week. Like, end of this weekend, you know, we could be down in 6th or 7th if results go against us, or we could be 3 points behind you.
Mate, imagine that 3 points behind, and people still think this Arteta guy is going to take. Unbelievable, mate.
Mate, what do you think score prediction? I know you said you think it's going to might be a boring game. You think you're going to go thinking low scoring? Do you fancy your boys to get something?
I hate predicting this scoreline, but I'm going to do it because I think it's going to be this bad. I'm going to go 0-0.
Yeah, no, fair. I hear it.
I am. I just don't see either team scoring personally. Yeah, I might be wrong, mate. I could be wrong, but
I'd love us to win at the Emirates, but I'll be honest. I think it'll end up being 1-0. I mean, I know I'm not playing amazing right now, but Arsenal aren't playing great, and I just think we've got enough not to get beaten. I'm not saying we've got enough to win, but we've definitely got enough not to lose. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. It'll be very interesting. But Bro, thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciated, as always. Let the people know where to find you if they don't know.
Big up, bro. Love. Thank you for having me, Charlie. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, people. Yeah, Football's 12th Man's my channel. Dan Arsenal 87 on all socials. And big up for having me, man. I really appreciate it. Enjoyed it.
Nah, pleasure, bro. No problem at all. Guys, make sure you subscribe to Potts. Football's 12th Man. Be tagged in the title, so go and show him some love over there. Smash the like, subscribe, all that good stuff, people. And we'll catch you again in another one soon.